Okay, thank you. We have 4 resolutions to discuss this evening. Tom, could you please read the resolutions?
Resolution number 2025-03-1301, amending the 2025 fiscal operation income and expense budget. Resolution number 2025-03-1302, resolution regarding applications and allocations of insurance proceeds and deductibles. Resolution number 2025-03-1303, relating to mulch. Resolution number 2025-03-1304, relating to trustees' code of ethics. And that's it.
Thank you, Tom. Would anybody like to come up to the mic and have any questions regarding these 4 resolutions? Oh wait, I'm sorry, 1 second. We're going to talk, just give you some additional information.
Why don't you do them individually instead of all 4 at once, because otherwise it's going to be a mess.
That's what we're going to do right now.
Good.
Good evening, everyone. For the resolution number 1, amending the operating income and expense budget, as you can see contained in the resolution, the change is mainly pertaining to insurance increases. We discussed this at previous meetings, that we have seen a significant increase in our insurance premiums, primarily with the package policy, which is your main policy that covering the common elements, structures, etc. So we're seeing a difference in our operating budget of $856,100, which equates to a special assessment of $352. Contained in the resolution is the due date to make payable, April 1st. The board is providing a provision or an option for installments. April 1st, $176, and May 1st for the second installment of $176.
Now, would anybody like to come up and have any questions regarding this resolution?
All right, I've only got a couple here. I'm not going to keep you too long. My name is Harvey Berman. I live at 156C Gramercy Court. We had an agreement with the MUA. Is that correct? Right?
This has nothing to do about...
Well, it does. It's the increase. Part of it is...
This increase is based on the insurance right now. Has nothing to do about the water.
Okay. Then I'll wait.
Thank you.
Hi, Joanne Glass, 451B Portsmouth Drive. Just had a question. We had a special assessment last year for $106. It was broken up into 4 payments for the residents. This time we're being told April 1st, today's the 12th of March, that we have $176 due for the first payment April 1st, and then the second payment $176 May 1st. Am I correct? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so my question is, why not spread it out a little bit more for people in here so that they have more time and a little more notice? I mean, we're not even talking a little over 15 days for people to come up with this extra money. You have to know that this is a hardship for people, given so little time, and the fact that We went from 106 to 352, and we're doing it in 2 less months. Take money out of the reserves if you have to make sure, if you have to make a payment before all the funds come in, but you have to do something to help people out. It even should be like 6 months really. I mean, if you want to be honest, and I'm sure a lot of people in here would agree with me. I'm only speaking for myself. Thank you.
I'm Mary Ann, 538C Portsmouth Drive. I'm just going to piggyback on my friend's statement. Today I went across to my neighbor who has a wife he couldn't come to the meeting tonight. And I told him what was going on. And he read all the resolutions and he just didn't understand. And I said at the last meeting, and the candidates meeting, my question actually was brought up for the candidates, is that there has to be more transparency and there has to be a way to reach people in this community, meaning the seniors and the elderly, and have a little bit more compassion for people. I think this board has zero compassion for these people.
I'm Dory, 334B. 2 years ago, I got up at this microphone and said that you need to tighten your belts. Well, since then, a $1.2 million Taj Mahal was built. Since then, a new hire was taken on. What have you done to tighten your belts? Because you're not going to come to us and tell us we have to fuck up with this money and not sacrifice anything. It looks like layoffs are in order. It looks like that there needs to be no bonuses. We're not privy to this information, and we should be. That's part of the transparency thing that many of you ran on. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about cutting your expenses? Does anybody give an answer? You just sit there with a blank stare on your face. Because you know what? You keep squeezing us, and there's people that are just getting the Social Security and that measly 2.5% to 3% increase a year. This is not feasible for anybody. Wake up and see what your community needs. I expect to go back to the drawing board and cut this amount in half.
So my name is Emanuela Santiago, 359C Dorchester. I'm counting a group of people right here. How many of you live here? All of you? Yes? Okay. How many of you live here? Come on. How many of you work? Okay. So the rest are on what? Social Security. How many of you have to pay for your medication extra? Okay. How much is your deductible this year? Huh? Exactly. Now, how much are you getting paid?
Zero.
To be, really?
Yeah.
To be, let me tell you this. I'm a business administrator, and I saw on Indeed a job from here. Am I correct? You guys didn't know? How about you, Miss Phyllis? Do you know about that? Do you know how much they were offering? Do you know? A position. None of you know? Huh? An administrator. Huh? Do we know? Huh? Say yes or no. $90,000. Now, I want you to explain to me, why do you need more money from us? What is this insurance garbage? Because I'm going to tell you one thing. Oh, don't laugh.
I'm not laughing.
Because trust me, we're going to be here all night. I am sick and tired. I've lived here for 5 years. Mr. Attorney, what is your name? Because you're the only one that has no name. What is your name?
I have a name. My name is Gregory Vinaigrette. I'm from the law firm Callahan.
Gregory.
Frisco. Yep.
Do you have a card with you today?
I have one in my pocket, sure.
I want it.
You got it.
So let's keep talking. You or whoever it is.
Ma'am, you have another 30 seconds, so just
Well,
let you know.
no. You know what?
No, you have 30 seconds.
And I'm gonna come around because I'm not finished. And trust me, I don't see not a lot of people behind me. I'm gonna talk on behalf of all of them. We are sick and tired of all of yous. Do you understand?
Yes.
I work and I make good money and I can pay this, but I don't feel like it. Because I tell you one thing, you know when you said, oh, we're gonna do cleaning and doing this and doing that, you guys don't do nothing.
Okay.
We are paying.
Can you speak about the resolution?
We are paying money for you guys not to do nothing.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you the last thing. I got a letter saying that they were going to charge me $250 because I let my car in front of my garage the last time that we had a snow. You know why? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you why. Because there was no place for me to park. And I have witnesses that saw me going around until 9:30 at night. I have to be at work at 6:30. Do you understand? So the $250, you better sit down and wait for them. Mr. Attorney, tell them to take me to court because I'm going to have a field day with you guys.
Okay.
Do you
Thank
understand?
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am.
We have to get together like they do, and we have to put our money together. Instead of giving it to them, we're going to pay an attorney to go and get all this garbage. Do you see anybody here of color? No. Do you see anybody here as a Hispanic? No. But I got a ballot on my property to vote for this people. Really? How about the new people? Where are the new people? You one of them? Who else is the new people? And how many?
Ma'am, if you don't control yourself, we're going to ask you to leave.
Oh, now you asking for me?
Yeah, we will.
Because you're the president?
Yes, ma'am.
So just to be clear, this is a board meeting. It's for the board business. And it's these comments.
I'm tired of the abuse.
Right. These comments should be related to the resolution only. This is about an increase in insurance premiums because of all of the claims that have been filed against the association. Right.
Okay, so to that point, I think I read something in the policy. What's the total policy amount? My name is Anthony Hatcher. I'm 516 Portsmouth Drive, A. Okay. What's the total amount of this total policy? 2,800,000 something? Did I read that correctly?
That's a combination of all policies together. I can give you the package policy amount in 1 second.
Okay.
So the 2025 package policy is $2,030,574.84.
Okay. What portion of the total budget revenue that you generated from the association and everything, what's the total amount? Over $10 million, right?
Yes, it was roughly over
Okay.
$10 million.
And you guys can't seem to manage the $10 million and you just keep having to come to us for assessment year after year and they keep getting greater, as well as the increase in the maintenance fee, which isn't really a whole lot that you guys do here. What I would like to see is a total breakdown from, and what you put in the magazine is not descriptive enough. I would like to see how this money is being allocated, because to her point, I did see that job posting in Indeed for an administrative position, and the salary was $90,000, okay? $90,000, we saw that. Okay? So where's this money being, where's this money coming out of in the budget? Okay, I see administrative costs $5 million. I'd like, as a resident, I would like to see this itemized breakdown, because it just keeps getting greater and greater. Okay?
Well, first off, we're not advertising an administrative assistant for that kind of salary, so I don't know what you were looking at. Maybe it was a different Leisure Village? I'm sorry.
I had it checked for the same purpose.
All right, but I'm telling you, we're not advertising that kind of salary.
You guys are not.
Okay, you may not be advertising it, but are you paying it?
No.
Okay. All right. So to my point, to my original question, can we get an itemized, more descriptive, because you just keep giving us overall numbers, 856,000 increase. Where is this being broken? We'd like to copies of the policy. We'd like to have transparency into how this money is being spent. Okay? Because somewhere, like someone said, we need to push back on this, because if we don't, you guys are going to just keep going, and it's getting more and more.
I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yes.
we did have our insurance professionals here to address the community, to explain this long before we had this.
Okay.
This is not anything the board can control.
Okay, and they gave you paperwork, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we want to see. We want more transparency. We don't want what's posted in the magazine each month. Okay?
Absolutely. We could post all the policies in the...
All the policies and all the administrative costs that, everything, the whole budget, how it's being
The
spent.
whole budget's already on your portal.
Not descriptive enough. Not descriptive enough. It's so vague.
I think anything additional you just need to stop down at the administration office and...
No.
We all want to see it, just like you put postings in the Appfolio. We'd like to be able to go and read it at leisure, okay, when it's conducive for us. Because the way you guys have it umbrella, it's not transparent enough. Because there's mismanagement somewhere.
You also realize there's a budget committee amongst your peers that manages that budget, right?
They manage the budget. Is it transparent? Can we visibly see it?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a budget hearing every year where those people come and explain. It's done on a PowerPoint, and every line item is explained.
Every single line.
Every line item,
Okay,
yes.
but where can I find that for the 2024-2025? In the portal, descriptive.
Yeah.
If I find one line that I'm not able to translate, I can come to one of you guys, right? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, because it's a point of mismanagement. We cannot keep getting squeezed like this.
Yes.
$352. Last year was 100 and something. Our maintenance costs went up $34. I'm paying almost $400 a month for what?
Every community is paying more, sir.
I'm not talking about every community. We're talking about here.
So, if I could, I hear what you're saying about the budget meeting, right? And the question at the budget meeting to ask would be, how did you come up with that line item for insurance?
Correct.
Right, that's going to be the question. And the answer is they consult their insurance professionals to get the best estimate for what they can expect.
Do we have visibility to that? Do we have a visibility to the...
Yes, and they've said that this is what the insurance professionals have recommended it's going to be. The problem is that in most associations, budgets aren't lined up with when their insurance renews. So all the association can do, all the board can do, and the budget committee can do, is look at where they are, consult their insurance professionals, and come up with the best estimate for what they believe that increase is going to be. That increase ended up being much more than what the insurance professionals advised. Well, that was exactly what we had the meeting with the insurance professionals for, where they came here and they discussed all of the issues with the community, all of the claims, all of the fires that the community has had, right, we have lakes, you've had multiple fires, you've had all these issues here, you have trip and fall, slip and fall claims, you have all these things, that's why they're going up. And that's why it's important when there's a meeting and you see one of these professionals here, that's your chance. That's why the board brings them.
You hold these meetings when we're typically at work. That's the problem. Okay? So that's why I'm asking.
It's also recorded for you to view.
Not all of them.
The insurance meeting was.
Not all of them.
I just want okay, and you probably understand, right? But I don't know if everybody understands that when the budget is approved, they're just doing the best they can to estimate what the insurance is going to be until they get all the final numbers in. So it will almost never line up perfectly with what's in the budget with what your insurance is going to be. It's just not designed that way.
Yeah, but there's got to be.
That's why you have the increase, because it wasn't anticipated. No one told the board that it would be this percentage increase. And nobody knew until they get the numbers from the underwriters, from the carriers. And it's a lot of different policies that go into it, a lot of different ones, right? There's D&O, there's cyber, there's general liability, property damage, E&O, there's a whole lot.
Okay, but there has to be somewhere in this 10 million plus budget that we have where you guys can scale back. And that's what I'm going to be looking at.
Right, and I'll just remind people that when we had this meeting and they said they were going to cut the routes for the buses to try to save money, there was a lot of people here that said, we need the buses, we're going to sue you if you get rid of the buses, right? So that's the give and take that the board is contending with.
Okay, and to that point, I have to now put my garbage at the curb. I pay more, but I have to do more work. We cut back on waste management, correct? Yes or no? We cut back on some of the tree eliminations and things like that, correct? In the budget, right? Yeah. This is what I'm saying. We're cutting back in the wrong places, but then we have to pay more for less services around here. Trust me, this is not the last. I don't hear you.
Roger Adams, 538B Portsmouth. 2 points. One, thank you for clearing that up. I don't think a lot of people understand. A couple of months ago, you did the yearly budget, and we had a printout of every breakdown. Every question you just had, there was a breakdown of every department of what the costs were. And what people need to understand is we have a yearly budget, and you estimate what that budget's going to be for the year. After the budget's passed and approved, when the budgets are passed and approved, we have no way of knowing that the insurance companies come back and say, we just upped your insurance policy 100%. There's not a lot of places to cut back. Waste Management said if you want to have the agreement with us and you want this particular price, we don't want to be picking up the garbage out of the green cans anymore. We want to put them up. These are true. I live here and work here.
Do you work here?
I don't work here, I live here.
Really? And you're okay with this being?
I'm saying that, I'm not happy with it, no, I'm not happy with it. But you have to remember something. We just had a board election, these are all people who live here, they're residents here. We just had an election, and then
I want to see the change, and I want to see the change that you're going to sign for Kate.
Fine, excuse me. In a month, you're going to have 4 new board members, which will be a majority. You don't think these people would have a meeting unless it was an emergency. In a month, 4 of them are going to be replaced. My point is, it's a very, very important topic. We got blindsided by the insurance company, and I think we have to listen to what they have to say. And sometimes we're going to have things happen. We have a yearly budget already done, and now we have something that came up. And I just want to make that point. There are people that are reading this and understand it, and we can go back and find the budget that we had already passed a few months ago. I'm trying to explain why.
Okay. Next, please.
Gene Lineberg, 352A.
Thank you, Gene. Go ahead.
Exactly.
I find myself in awe of what I'm about to say, but I'm usually the loud one and the rude one, so.
It's all good.
What you're hearing is frustration. You're hearing it because you don't communicate with us. And I've said this for the last 2.5 years. You have a web page at your disposal, and the only thing that is religiously on there is the weather report. Who gives a shit about the weather report? It's all over the place. This is important. You're presenting this. We got the notification yesterday, 2 days ago. It was released to us. You're about to pass that resolution because you never not pass a resolution that's put in front of us.
But we spoke about this dollar amount a couple weeks ago, right?
I unfortunately was not able to be here, but yes, I did view it online, yes. Okay.
So it's not
But I don't think that it was mentioned that the resolution's going to be passed on the 13th and the 1st you owe the money. You have to give us communication, you have to give us warning. Instead of 2, make it 4 payments like it was suggested. Listen when we can stand you. And now I have to call you out. You just said that everything was explained to us for the budget, line by line item. That's not true. What is true is that you give us the department totals. There is no breakdown. Anything, no detail, no number of people that are working. I'm sorry, yes, you do have the number of people per department, I believe. But there's no breakdown of how that money is spent under the top lines. So don't tell us that it was there. It wasn't there. So I have to call you out because 2 of you said explicitly that it was. People are trying to tell you, you have to communicate with us. And you have to listen. I'm done.
Thank you. Yep.
301F West Malvern Court, Sheila Knight. When you passed the HOA by $34 for 2025, you factored in every possible expense and still have a cushion. Even suggesting charging as a special assessment means that everyone, especially many of them, have savings, or some don't, some are just on Social Security. They are now having to dip into them, which is not what we moved into her. If we wanted an exclusive lifestyle, we could live in 4 seasons. But we moved here to be economical and not to spend a lot of money. I protest the thought of charging us more money, even as a one-time thing. It has to stop. Please vote no. Members of the board, please vote no.
Tom Conley, 452A Portsmouth Drive. I would just like, before, you know this is going to get passed, so before you leave tonight, I hope you tell everybody that you're going to change it to at least 4 payments, if not try to extend it a little bit more. I think that's the least you could do, considering the issue and problem going on right now. And again, if you can't do it for as far as you need to make the payment, like the suggestion was, take it out of the funds and then backfill. But I think before you leave tonight, you should make that, at least to the people here, being such a short notice of the way things are being done here. Thank you.
I would like to say that we've already had to make many of these insurance policies payments. We have not funded the reserve since December, January, and February. We are getting behind on our reserve contributions. We cannot take money that is already in the reserves out to spend for any of this. And the insurance increase is not just because of our community. It is about the disasters that have happened all over the country affect the insurance that we have to pay. Thank you.
Brady Barrett.
We have somebody at the mic, please. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Ray Barrett, 295A Malvern. Oh, I see. We were partners in that. Fair.
Just speak into the mic, sir, please.
I figure I'd say hello to you. The questions I have, the one was with this
building project. There's monolith. You had told us...
Sir, though, this is about this particular resolution?
Yeah, for more money. I'll get there.
This is about...
But you told us with the insurance didn't pay enough for the building that had burned down. I haven't been here long enough, so I don't have all facts. So we never found out how much they paid. We don't know how big the old maintenance building was.
Okay.
Now there's this. Is that the reason, another reason for this increase? Because what should be done with my idea, this is how you budget at home. You see something, put aside this year, that year, that year. This way you don't get whacked all at once. And then I thought the budget that originally passed had the 30% increase for insurance in it. And you have another 30% increase again? Is this 60%? It's 60%. But our insurance costs went up the same. You guys gotta figure this out. You guys gotta figure this out. I mean, I'm not being nasty. You gotta get smart with the money. You know, one more question. Tom, what was that? What was the thing they had to do? You put aside money, something with the lakes or the valves, or does that make sense? We saw a truck there at the opening off of 70, and it had the corrugated tubes. What project was that?
Well, we've had a number of dam projects over the years, and as well as culvert pipe replacement. Maybe
yes, well, there's one, and the budget was about 200 something. But I mean, it's always all of a sudden pursuant to this code and that and that. I mean, it's not immediate. Roads aren't collapsing. I don't understand why it can't be broken down.
So to give you a little back history on this, for those that did not attend the meeting with the insurance, so prior to October, which is when we're usually finalizing the budget, we received from our insurance broker, they estimated between 30 and 50% increase, but they were conservative. They felt it was going to come in around 30%. That's what we articulated to the budget committee. That's what was incorporated in the budget. Shortly before our renewal, our broker came back and said our existing incumbent carrier wanted a 100% increase. So the budget incorporated 30%, but it could not handle 100%. So to give you an idea, our expiring term policy amount was $1,171,114.44. It increased to $2,030,574.84. And that, it's not 100% because the board took the initiative to research other brokers, interview them, and that broker went out and started researching other carriers.
And that is your job.
Right. So we did change carriers. We were with CAU for many, many years. Very good carrier. But due to the number of claims we've seen in here, what they considered our exposure, as well as the natural disasters, we are affected by things that are happening on the other side of the country. Unfortunately, the insurance market right now is very turbulent. It's very bad. And all communities are seeing the same thing. We're not immune to the problems that are going on out there. And this is not something the board can control, but they did try to mitigate or minimize the exposure or the amount of the insurance increases by interviewing other brokers, getting other proposals from other carriers. We did move to Philadelphia Insurance, and the premium with Philadelphia, I think, came in $100,000 less than CAU. So there was some reduction. We were able to make reductions in other areas, but not huge. For instance, our workers' comp insurance was $155,000 this year. It is now down to $129,000. So there is areas where we have been able to reduce insurance premiums, but unfortunately, even many of our units out here we have to cover with flood insurance, and that generally doesn't go down. That usually goes up.
See, the problem is ours go up. Ours went up 30%. Our electric's up 40%. I mean, we're suffering too. Something has to be done. You gotta be creative. And it seems to me with any new board members, only in the 2 years, there's nothing being done. Everybody just follows suit. I look at the check, or absentee. Nobody, you guys can test it. Or can anybody come up with some creative ideas? There's gotta be something. There's gotta be something. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Patricia Wilson, 545 East Sheffield Court. Okay, you say we have fire insurance, we have disasters. Judy, you're saying we have no money in the reserves.
I did not say that.
It's going behind.
We have not made contributions.
Now that's a
so that we
serious-
can pay for the insurance.
That's a serious problem.
We will make it up.
Because, wait a minute, if you don't have money in the reserves for disasters that happen in here, you're gonna come to us for the money. So something is not being done that's supposed to be done correctly. Wait a minute, before you say anything. If you have a problem, you have to cut back. You have to cut back on a lot of stuff. The pool, the clubhouses, you gotta do something to stop it for a while till we get caught up. Close one of the clubhouses. Get rid of the electric. But basically, a disaster's happening here, but you can't have this problem all the time. Because there are potholes, there are sinkholes that are gonna go down on Dorchester, and nothing's being done about it to prepare for it not to happen. But when it happens, you're gonna come after us, because your reserves are not being built up. And second of all, you took out a $2 million loan, you didn't need a new building. How are we paying this off? What's for collateral? Our houses for collateral for that loan? That's a serious matter. And we're gonna get stuck. And eventually we can't do it. What are you gonna do when we can't pay? What are you gonna do? Do you realize, do you think about these things? But you gotta stop doing things you shouldn't be doing. That's the problem. Overboard on your spending. You gotta cut back like every homeowner in here has to cut back. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to do anything, and we're not gonna be able to keep paying you. You guys gotta think.
Thank you.
Rosemary Amido, 217E Buckingham Court. I understand that all the insurance rates have gone up because mine have gone sky high. My only question is, the amount that you guys want to charge us, that $352, is that going to be added on to our HOA fees? And do we have the option to pay it all? For example, my Social Security just covers my mortgage and my HOA fees. So now I've got to come up with an additional $352. Where does it come from? That's my question. Does that come to the HOA, or do we have the option to pay it on our own?
What do you mean pay it on?
Like, can we, when we have the money, can we come in and pay the full amount or in two portions by check, as opposed to it being added onto our HOA?
So for those,
No, it's a special, I'm sorry.
unless another board member makes a motion, but for those that those who are having any issues, you can contact the office, and I'm sure the office will work with you. But there are a lot of people that will be able to make the payment that needs to be made, and the money needs to be put into our accounts. That's
Okay, so if we can't make the payment hypothetically,
correct.
are they going to automatically go into our HOA and add it on?
No, this is a one-time.
One-time. Well, I mean,
No.
if your insurance keeps on going up. No.
We're not doing it on purpose. No.
Ma'am, we have somebody at the mic, please. I would like her to finish, please. Thank you.
That was it. I just wanted to know if it was going to be added onto our HOA fees, and how does that all come about?
No, but let's be honest though. This dollar amount, okay, will increase the HOA fee for next year.
Right. I
Okay.
understand that.
not $350, but it'll be close to $30,
Right.
just this dollar.
Like I'm saying, in my case, yes, I work part-time, and I still get my social security, but you have some people here that are up in age, that
Sure.
are not gonna be able to do it. And I guess what they were saying with the transparency, it just said you're gonna be responsible for $352 assessment. That's why I'm asking, is it gonna go onto my HOA fees?
It will be put on your HOA account.
Okay, but is that gonna come out one time, two times, or four?
There's different ways to.
You have to pay.
You will have to make, if you pay it through your bank, you'll have to call your bank and tell them to the payment. Otherwise, they're just going to take out your normal HOA fee.
That's what I was asking, is my normal HOA fee going to come out, and then I can come into the office hypothetically with a check and say, well, here's 2 payments for whatever it is.
Yes.
But they're not going to go in and take that full amount from my HOA?
Yes, it says to let the office know. It says to let the office know if you want to install. If they make that clear, if you don't make 2 payments, if you don't let the office know which one you're doing. That's what they're not going to take it down.
Hi, Elaine Mundy, 387B. I just have a quick question about the insurance. You mentioned that we actually have to have flood insurance here? So what areas are considered flood?
Certain units, Tom can tell you.
Sure. Well, FEMA determines that.
Right, I know that.
When we get notice, typically FEMA changes the maps and sometimes it impacts residential units. And usually we find out when someone is trying to obtain a mortgage and the mortgage company researches the area, sees that it falls within a specific flood zone. So if it has to get coverage, we typically work with our engineer and surveyor to get it exempted. If we can't, try to get it reduced to a different category. But yes, there are a few units out here. I believe we have 8 in total buildings, residential buildings that we do cover for flood.
And is that
I could tell you right now, building 328, 353, 355, 319, 225, 248, 605, and 211.
All right, thank you.
I'll see you after the meeting.
No, because today I want to know how.
You're gonna get it up to the
What's the name of the insurance? What's the name of the insurance?
Ma'am, you can come. Ma'am, you can.
It's up to you to yell at me.
So, what's the name of the insurance?
Tom said he would talk to you after this meeting and give you that information.
Everybody wants to know the name of the insurance.
Oh, you want to know. You want to know.
Of course I want to know.
All right, then you ask after me.
Do you guys want to know? You want to know the name of the insurance?
Which one?
The one that you guys have, you know, that you need to pay?
The main policy is Philadelphia.
The main policy is Philadelphia? And where are they located?
In Philadelphia.
Okay. And would we have an account number with Philadelphia? The policy number?
Yes, we're going to move on.
What's that policy number? What do you mean move on?
Just what.
All right, again, just to remind everybody, this is a board meeting that's open to the membership for Q&A on things involving the resolution. It's not a membership meeting, all right?
Excuse me, I have a question. Fransangi, 320B, Coventry Court. My question is, why can't we use money in the reserve if we do have money in reserve, rather than increasing this?
Because the reserve is funded, it has to be funded. You can't take money out to pay for something else. Like I said before, we have not put into the reserves for December, January, February, which we have to catch up by the end of the year. So that was kind of like taking it out, but it was never in there. We need this money in our operating account to pay bills. We've already paid many of the insurance payments.
So you have been using reserve funds. How much is in our reserve funds right now?
If you wait, when I give my report, you will know.
How much? Wait for what? tonight?
For my report.
Okay. So in other words, we can't use any of that reserve money?
No.
Because it's allocated for
So
other
the,
things?
so the new reserve study law does not allow borrowings from the reserves such that it would incur a special assessment or an emergency assessment for something else that's coming down the pipe within the next 5 years. So if you have a major project coming up, you can't borrow from the reserves if you're not going to have money to fund that project that's coming up. And best practices is not to borrow from the reserves, because most communities, when they start borrowing from the reserves, they don't put the money back, and that's how associations get into trouble.
Now, this was mentioned before, instead of breaking it up in 2 payments, why not 4 payments?
Man, we already spoke about that. We said, if somebody has an issue, they can call the association.
What?
Okay?
No, hello. We call the association, they've already standardized 2 payments. You should have put it in that resolution, 4 payments, not 2. So, is it 2 or 4? What are we gonna do? You need to decide tonight. You need to make a decision, 4 payments or 2 payments.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next.
All right.
Hi, I'm Donna Martirano, 36F. I want to know, do we know, can you tell us what percentage of our HOA fee goes into the reserve? And isn't the reserve for major improvements, and I don't understand why everything's coming out of our pocket instead of using that. We're contributing to it from our HOA fee, which we're supposed to. Why isn't it available to help with these costs?
Okay, so as the attorney explained, the reserve contributions are for infrastructure, replacing common elements, replacing roofs on the building, etc. But to answer your first question, out of your HOA fee, 24% of that goes towards the reserves.
24. Thank you.
Okay, Tom, are we going to read the next resolution, I guess? Or what? We read it.
I'll discuss the next resolution regarding allocation of insurance proceeds and deductibles. So again, this resolution, as well as the next one about mulch, they're meant to try to assist the association mitigate the increase that you've seen for these insurance premiums, which is why this assessment was in place in the first place. This resolution, in some form, has already been a part of the association's policies, and what it provides is how, if there's an insurance loss, how the proceeds from that loss will be distributed between the association's common elements and the unit owners that are affected by the loss. And it's in there. It can be based on what the adjuster determines to be the percentage of loss. And then the next part of it is the allocation of deductibles, which to me is very important. The association's deductible has risen to $25,000, which means that if there's a loss in the association, property loss, the association is going to be responsible for the first $25,000. If that loss was caused by the negligence of a unit owner, so think of a unit owner falling asleep with a cigarette in their mouth, causing a fire, the association would shift the deductible to that negligent responsible unit owner, and that unit owner would be responsible for paying the $25,000. Obviously, not every owner here has $25,000, but every unit owner here should have an HO6 policy. It's incredibly, incredibly important for every owner to contact their HO6 carrier to see if the coverage that they have will pay for a deductible like this to shift. Not all of them do, but a lot of them do, and a lot of them will be happy to give you that information or let you execute an endorsement or addendum to get that kind of coverage. And that's what this resolution is really meant to address. It's meant to just notify everybody that the deductible is going up, and if you're responsible for a loss to the association is entitled to go after you for the deductible. So just keep that in mind. That's what this is for. Yeah, and I'll just talk about the next one, which is mulch. All right. So the fire code for New Jersey has been amended to provide that certain buildings and still in dispute which buildings it applies to and what communities and what exactly must be done for those owners that have mulch within 18 inches of their building. Obviously, the first 3 feet are the unit owner's responsibility. They can plant things, they can put mulch in that area, and usually do what they please as long as the board approves, right, of what goes in there. This is meant to, one, try to mitigate the potential exposure for the association by prohibiting mulch in that 3-foot area. There have been fire claims here because of mulch. There's a lot of fire claims because of mulch. The association, again, is trying to do their best to try to prevent fires in this community. And one step that they're taking is by prohibiting mulch being installed within that 3-foot area. You could install any non-combustible material, right? So you can put stones in, things like that, that's fine. But you cannot put a combustible material, so no mulch. And they kind of tie in together. So an example would be, if this resolution is approved today, and you go ahead and you put mulch in there anyway, well, you're in violation of the association's documents. If there is a fire, right, because of the mulch, the association is then going to try to shift that $25,000 deductible to that responsible negligent unit owner for installing the mulch. So I just want to show you how these resolutions kind of play in together a little bit to try to ensure if there's as little fire claims or little claims as possible, so your premiums don't keep going up.
Are there any fires this year for mulch? We want to know how many fires.
Excuse me, ma'am, when you address the board, please come up to the mic and wait your turn like everybody else.
Hi, just one question. So this is being passed today. So if I put mulch in last summer, I have to remove that?
Yes.
And I just throw more dirt on it? Sorry.
No.
Why not?
Because it's still combustible.
But you know how it disintegrates and kind of...
I just want to let everybody know again that this is in the fire code now, the state fire code. So this rule, this 18-inch rule, was not created by the board of the association.
No, I understand.
They're just going to be responsible if the fire official comes in and starts inspecting.
Joanne Glass, 451B, Portsmouth. A couple of questions. When is this code changing, the date? When is it in effect as of?
I think it was April 15th. I can find it for you if you give me.
The resolution says if it's approved tonight, it takes effect immediately. So that theoretically could mean that tomorrow, John on his Kubota could be riding up on people's property, looking at their mulch beds and citing them and giving them violations, $150, 14 days later.
No, that's not what's going to happen.
Well, but that's what it says. No, so let's not say that's not what's going to happen, because that's what it says. Because a lot of people in here have gone through the experience of what's happened with the parking and the towing and the fining and all that. So let's be real about what happens in here. Okay, so effective immediately means effective immediately. Second question is, what happens to people who are elderly, who can't remove that mulch? They're already going to be in a hardship paying this special assessment. Who's taking the mulch away? Is the village going to take the mulch away if we put it on the roadway after we take it out of our beds? I would like to know, and I wonder if other people would like to know. That's the question, okay? Thank you.
It was April 15th, by the way. It's
Yeah. So why are you going above and beyond what the fire code is in New Jersey? Because of the insurance cost? How many mulch fires have there been?
We had one recently in July that the fire began in the 3-foot area in the mulch. There was.
Ma'am, I'm not going to say it again. You can come up to the mic like everybody else and ask your question. Thank you, please.
And we had another one last year, which I'll be talking about tonight. It's another one of our claims. So it's also about maintaining your property. So we had another, especially with cigarettes, you got to be careful with smoking outside and make sure you extinguish them properly. But certainly the mulch is a combustible material, and even more than just cigarettes, reflect any kind of object that you have in your 3-foot area. You want to launch with decorations that a lot of them have these little mirrors and different pinwheels, things like that, that are reflecting the sunlight. That is also a problem, especially when you have mulch. So you want to be careful with that type of ornamental type fixtures in your foundation area as well.
Wouldn't that be John Lindster's job to bring to the attention of the homeowner for the safety of everybody?
Well, I mean, we're making it aware now, but John is not going to go around and start documenting your decorations. Right now, the board is trying to reduce the potential exposure out there in the commuter and reduce the potential of fires. So any fire on your property is not just usually impacting one person, it's impacting all your neighbors as well. For instance, the 75 building, 4 people were displaced from that fire. I understand that. I'm saying
What was that fire from, Tom?
the fire inspector suspected it was a poorly extinguished cigarette.
So why aren't we banning smoking in the village? And I know it's very unpopular, but that seems to be a common theme because a couple of places burned because of smoking materials.
Well, even if you banned it, how do you police that? I mean, I don't even know if the code.
You manage to police everything else, don't you now?
So one other point I think is important here is when we pass these resolutions, and why are we passing them, right, for insurance? We need to show the insurance companies that the association is taking action, that they're proactive to try to mitigate these issues. So when you go for renewal and you show that you've approved the mulch resolution and you've taken all the mulch around the building, that goes a long way. When you say you've passed this insurance deductible resolution or this resolution that shifts potential exposure to the unit owners, that goes a long way as well. So a lot of these, we're trying to be, as an association, is trying to be as proactive as possible to
If you were proactive, you would have brought it up last April when it was adopted. Okay, this is what happens with this board, is you make a decision, you find out information, and at the 11th hour, you ram it down our throats.
No, that's not true, because when this regulation was adopted, this fire code, nobody knew who it really applied to, and frankly, a lot of fire officials still are not exactly sure who it applies to. So there was a lot of ambiguity as to whether this even applies to the village or not. And obviously the village, there's a lot of buildings, some of them built with different materials, right? And some of them have different amount of units in them. So it's not as simple as, this is the code, you should have been aware of it, you should have been ahead of it last year. It goes into effect next month, and we're just learning who it applies to, and we're just learning steps to try to mitigate it as much as possible.
That's not true. You could have done this 6 months ago, 8 months ago, instead of saying you're going to adopt it today, and then we all have to scramble and get rid of our mulch. Is the village going to get rid of all the mulch around all of our buildings, and they're really going to look like hell? Hello? Hello?
You say removing the mulch around your building. I do not have mulch around my building.
I'm saying about the village buildings.
Yes, we're going to remove the mulch around the building.
Okay, who's going to maintain this? Because with mulch, there's weeds everywhere. It looks like hell.
It's going to happen. I mean, we're going to have to take care of it.
They should have, when? They should have taken, I mean, I go to pay my association fee, and I see weeds all over the place, like, you gotta be kidding me. And that's with mulch. Without mulch, I mean, the village is really not gonna look good. And I understand the fire code, and I agree with it. I agree with the 18 inches. I can't say that the fire code official guy is gonna come in here and say, well, because you don't have it for the whole 3 feet, you know, come on. And that's for if the mulch is 3 to 4 inches deep. If it's 2 inches, it's really a non-factor.
Is this a question or?
Yeah, it is a question, Tom.
What's the question again?
Why are you superseding what the fire code is?
Because we're not going to be out there with little measuring tapes and sit there and wonder if it's going to be 14 inches, 18 inches. You're the mulch expert, right? You should know that mulch can blow and move, right? So why wouldn't we go and remove it from the 3-foot area to do what's best for the community and for our insurance carrier?
Well, I think because you know what, obviously our insurance costs haven't gone down, so you're gonna kiss their ass and say, we're gonna move from the 3
No, we're gonna go and we're gonna go and try to mitigate as many things that we possibly can in this community so that we can either maintain our insurance or have it be lowered next year, okay?
I doubt it's gonna be lowered. You know, it's just kind of like here. Once you raise the fee, it keeps going up. Once you have an assessment, it goes on.
All we can do is
It's an annual thing.
All we can do is
Okay? I disagree with you. We should follow the fire code to the letter.
Okay, well, we're going a little above. Thank you.
Ernest C. Blundell, 554 Sheffield Court. How many types of mulch are there? Are they all flammable, or some of them are non-flammable?
Well, I mean, most mulch is wood, so there's all different, there's wood chips, there's, root mulch.
That was my question. Can we use wood chips?
No.
No. And that's,
Can't use rubber either, it's flammable.
how about sand?
Yeah, I just do that.
Now, this 3-foot area, I don't want to get into this part, but this 3-foot area, I have to take the mulch out. Okay. I didn't put it in. No, it was there on the camera.
The answer is yes or no.
All right? I have to take it out?
Yes,
Yes.
Why?
because we're not allowing mulch in the 3-foot area.
Well, it's not my 3-foot area.
It is. Is it in front of your house?
Yes, it is.
You maintain it. That's the association rule. You
I have to-
maintain the 3-foot.
Maintain it, but I can't do anything I want with it.
Right.
Right, pay for it, I'll pay for it, I'll maintain it, I'll make sure everything's done, but I can't do what I want.
You just have to get a permit to do some certain things.
All right, that's great.
It's not hard.
All right, so I'll get a permit so I can put my tomato plants there. Am I gonna get one for that?
No, because it's in the bylaws.
That's why I said the last time I was at this mic, I said I pay $340-something a month for you people to tell me what I can't do. But, hey, take out that mulch. Common sense. Just try to think about it, just common sense. You're asking us to, asking. What about giving back a little bit? You know, I was in the union for a long, long time, and a lot of them sucked. You know, the presidents of the 30, you know, you gotta, if you ask us to do something, give a little back. Give a little back. How you can do that? Okay, just be careful how to barbecue. It's like, you don't care. I don't think you do. Just my opinion. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, I have no idea whatsoever who's going to take that mulch away. I have no idea. You think so? You don't know me. You don't know me, Joe. Let me ask you this question before I leave. Just recycling, okay? You got plastic and you got glass, right?
This is not about recycling.
This is going to be really simple. I'm going to take the mulch out. I have been in contact with the Lakewood firemen. Actually, every single fireman here, I got my own report. It's $40 from the, because there wasn't any transparency with this board on how the fire started. I remember asking Sandy, I gave him a cell phone number, you were going to get back to me on how the Cardi fire started. I found out on my own. It's $40 for the report. It's, I speak to firemen. The Edinburgh fire, I went down and talked to firemen. I do my own research. This is a simple question. I'm going to take the mulch out. But what do I do with it? I've been to the landfill over here in Lakewood. They're not going to take it. So should I put it on the side of the road and somebody's going to pick it up? Or down the street? Should I put it on Portsmouth Drive? Where are we going to put the mulch once we remove it? Once we remove it?
So you can bag it up,
Yeah, I'm going to put it in a black bag.
okay, and you can put it at the curb.
At the curb, okay, and maintenance, pick it up?
If we have to, yes, we'll pick it up.
Okay, so we answered that.
We would prefer that it's obviously in a bag where it's not super heavy. Obviously, you gotta be able to carry. But also, we prefer not that you just don't dump mulch on the side of the road, because that's even more problematic for the guys.
No, it's just slightly on topic with the fires, that we did have a fire safety person come here and talk to the folks about, like, you know, fire prevention, blankets, and all that other stuff. And I was at that meeting, and there were people that were really frightened about the fires, and just this board sometimes lacks compassion to the seniors regarding the fires. One lady was really nervous. She said her fire extinguisher was, you know, expired. And I just saw your faces. It's like, you have to have compassion. This is a senior community. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to clarify something here. It's about the mulch. It's line 3. It says, "The resolution shall not prevent the association from using mulch as it deems appropriate." So we can't use mulch because it's a fire hazard. But the association can use mulch. Where are you putting the mulch? Around trees? I'd like to know.
So in that instance, you are correct. In an area that isn't near a structure, you can use mulch.
Thank you.
Tom Conley, 452A Portsmouth Drive. I think a lot of us understand the issue, but part of the problem is the way you guys always go about things. Is you make a determination, and it's in effect right away. You say, well, it's going to be April 15, but the first thing you do, like you always do, is, and if it doesn't happen, if you don't get it done within a specific amount of time, $100, we could use that in the fund. Next time, $300, we could use it in the fund. We're real short, you know, things are really tight around here. But what you should have done was, for people that have a problem, that can't get it done, maybe you say, you know what, I'll get somebody, a contractor. And for a certain amount of houses, you know what, we'll charge you $50. How about we go offer people, for $50, we'll clean your report out for $25, whatever it is, to help those individuals instead of waiting around. And then say, you know what, we need $100 from you, and if you don't get it done in the next 14 days, we're going to get more money from you. That's the way we work around here. That's the problem. You don't seem to understand that. You're not getting it, all right? And people have been saying it all night. Be understanding, be helpful. I don't hear any of that. None of it. Please be helpful.
My name is Teresa Lima. I'm at 538 Portsmouth. I'm on a corner, and I have mulch in front of my house, the whole side of my house, the back of my house. If that's put in bags, and they're 20, 30 bags, are you going to pick them up? Who's going to pick them up? Well, they will. So if I call service, where do I call? Service line? And tell them to pick them up, they will pick them up. Okay.
Gene Library, 352A. Going back to the insurance deductibles. We have the association has a $25,000 deductible that the unit owner is responsible for, according to this new resolution or revelation.
No, the unit owner is the unit owner responsible for the loss would.
All right.
Up to the point.
If I was
theoretically be responsible for the.
If I was smoking and my house caught on fire and all 4 units caught on fire, I would be responsible.
I missed the first part.
If I was smoking or
yes.
if I did something wrong.
Yes.
What if nobody did something wrong? then all 4 unit owners are responsible to pay the deductible?
In your hypothetical situation, if you can't identify the source of the fire or the loss, and there's no evidence of negligence, the association would be responsible for the deductible. This is only in regards to the offending owner that causes the loss.
Okay. Why should a unit owner be responsible because the association didn't have enough insurance to cover the claims? We're paying for the association's insurance.
It's not that they don't have enough.
It's the deductible.
It's the deductible, so the premiums can go up more. This is the way to balance that the association.
Next year or the year after, it's a $100,000 deductible?
And there's other owners that would probably argue, why should I have to pay more of my premium? Why not just raise the deductible and charge the offending owner?
I would argue the same thing too.
This is the conversation.
I'm just wondering, next year, if the insurance is $50,000 deductible, a unit owner is going to get stuck with a bill for 50 grand after he's already lost everything? He or she, or they?
Is that right? Yeah, okay, so Tom told me that the carrier made it mandatory 25,000, so this was not a decision that the board even had. So a lot of times boards will weigh increasing the deductible, I mean, you understand, versus the premiums. In this situation, this is the option, the only option that was given to the association.
So what you're telling me and what you're telling us is that if a unit owner is directly responsible for the loss, then they are directly responsible for the deductible. If nobody was directly responsible for the loss, then the association will be covering the deductible?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Everybody's saying yes? Okay. Can that be put into the meeting minutes so that it's in writing? If no one is responsible, no one has to pay the deductible from that building. Yes, it's going to be in the minutes, and yes, that's really what you're saying, or we're just not going to get an answer. Correct? It's taking an awful long time to answer a simple question. It's not clear to me. That's why I asked the question. And that's why I want the answer in writing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not going to decide it with the board, but the way that this operates is exactly the way we just discussed. If there's no offending owner, this is just about the deductible, right? This is not, this is not actually paying for a loss, right? If there's
talking about the deductible.
If there's a deductible that needs to be paid and there's no responsible unit owner that's negligent or culpable for the loss, it gets paid by the association, sure.
Thank you.
That's the way it is now. That's the way it has been.
Question. I'm back at the assessment. Really quick question, because it's boggling my mind. There are people here that are in the arrears, right, in their maintenance fees. How does this assessment impact that?
Well, if they don't pay, it just gets added to their arrears.
Okay, so it's not to compensate, you're saying, to offset?
Oh, no, definitely, no, it's not an offset. So if they're $1,000 in arrears, and they owe $300, it'd be $1,300 in arrears. If they don't pay.
Okay. It's going to be in the minutes as well, right? Okay, that's it, right?
This is recorded, right?
Hi, Kelly Taylor. What's my address? Oh, 488A Portsmouth. I need an exact date for the mulch removal to prevent risking a fine. We didn't get an exact date. Can somebody give us one?
You're asking, when does the mulch have to be taken out?
An exact date, yeah. When is the last date it can be removed? Nobody can answer that? Then I don't have to worry about removing it then, right? If nobody can answer it?
No, so we contemplated it, you know, we didn't want to particularly put a certain date on there to go and impede people from removing the mulch. We were hoping, like I said, that you would just remove the mulch and it would be taken care of, okay?
Now, what if you don't have somebody to do it? You can't do it because of medical reasons, and you can't afford to have somebody to do it. What do you do then? Do you get fined? Do you get all your all your pool and gates and all that taken away because you can't do it? I mean, what's the answer to that?
Well, we don't know a number of people, number one, how many people are like that, okay? But if there was an issue, again, you could address it with administration and call them, and then we would get that information from the board, and we can determine how to help that person out.
Who do I talk to in administration?
So when we have typical issues with property maintenance, so if you're unable to maintain your property or you're failing to maintain that property, you will get notice from the association letting you know. And you have a certain amount of time to abate it. In situations where the unit owner does not abate the violation, we can send employees in there to clean it up, but then your account will be billed for that.
But will my amenities be stopped? Like, will I not be able to go through the gate and the pool and all that because I'm having an issue?
It depends on the issue. If you're just not abating and communicating with us, that's a different situation. You're total violation. That would be up to the board when it comes to those election matters to suspend privileges. Through the administration office, we're not making the rules. We're just following through on policies set by the board.
So I can tell you now that I have no idea when I'm going to be able to do this, and you're going to be okay with that.
No, not at this meeting. No, you would need to contact, the board hasn't even passed a resolution yet, so let's not put the cart before the horse.
Okay. I'm not going to worry about it then. Thank you. A date, like I asked.
The date that the fire code goes into effect is April 15th, 2025.
It goes into effect, so then...
Right, so if you have mulch within that space by April 15th, within 18 inches, then you are in violation of the fire code.
Okay, I'll communicate with administration then.
And again, who are their administrators? How many?
How many? I think we have 6 in the administration.
6 people?
Yeah.
And they're all here?
No.
Nobody here from their administration?
Just myself and Phyllis.
Just you and Phyllis. Okay. 6. And Mr. Attorney, are you an insurance attorney?
I'm retained by the association to be their general counsel and collections counsel. I do handle insurance defense claims for associations.
You do?
I do handle coverage disputes. I have never represented.
So you have a license
I have a law license to practice law.
For insurance?
I have a license to practice law in New Jersey, federal court, New Jersey, New York, Southern District of New York, Eastern District of New York, Pennsylvania.
Okay, I still want that card before I leave. And is it Haskell? Mr. Haskell. So every time somebody asks you a question, you look at Mr. Attorney for an answer. Now, let me ask you something. How much are we paying Mr. Attorney every time he comes to meetings like this?
This is included in my retainer, so I'm not getting any extra for attendance.
In your retainers, so you are the village attorney?
I am the association's general counsel and collections counsel.
Okay, so you're getting paid by us?
I get paid by the association.
Which is us?
Correct.
How much? You know you can disclose that. We want to know. We pay. We want to know how much you're getting paid.
The association pays me $5,000 a quarter.
5,000
Per quarter.
per quarter, which is?
How many quarters?
Tell me, no, I want to know.
20,000.
20,000. 20,000 people. Okay, so, Mr. Haskell, do you live here?
I do.
What's your address?
You don't need my address.
Why not?
It's in the book.
Everybody, it's in the book? Who has his address? Oh, yeah, okay, so we're gonna look you up. And everybody else that says that lives here. Because the law apply for everybody.
Sure.
Everybody. That means that if you are getting paid by us, because you work on the village. No? Nobody? Just the attorney. So you guys do it for fun? Really? Guys.
It's called volunteering. So now, sit down. I'm done with you.
Get your facts before you sit.
We're done with you. Goodbye.
Mr. Haskell, that's disrespectful.
Goodbye, ma'am.
That's disrespectful.
Next.
That's very disrespectful. You should ask your attorney. That's very disrespectful. Maybe you should not be sitting there. Because you can take the heat.
Oh, no, I can take it.
You cannot take the heat. You look at Mr. Attorney every time somebody asks you something that you don't even have an idea of how to respond.
Have a nice night.
On 37E Cambridge Court for today. I may move. I am not up here to be combative. It occurred to me sitting here listening about the mulch. Would it be possible to have a meeting or something? We have on Thursdays and Fridays, they pick up what they call bulk. Like Fridays, it's mostly electronics, if you're throwing out anything electric, and Thursday, it's softer stuff that you have to get rid of. Couldn't we add this mulch removal as a project on a day when you call service and say, I picked up my mulch, and then tell you, put it on the sidewalk, we'll pick it up on your day? Just consider it. I'm not asking for an answer.
No, you just check the calendar. It actually says debris. So
Yes,
those days.
but could we include this mulch? They need it in writing. Can you include this mulch? Whether it's rubber or wood or whatever.
Right.
As the same way they do, when I get rid of something, I call service and I say, I'm leaving such and such on the sidewalk, and they say, fine, as long as we know where to go. So maybe we could add the mulch into it, just to let everybody know somebody's gonna pick it up.
Okay.
That's all.
I realize I did speak on the mulch previously, however, before you vote on this, I think this resolution needs to be amended to include this section of the fire code, and it says that no unit owner or tenant shall be permitted to install mulch and or any other combustible material. I think you need to be more specific of that, and the use of non-combustible material, because a lot of people aren't aware of what's combustible and non-combustible. Because I did hear somebody else say rubber mulch, and that is the most combustible. Okay, so, and you need to add a date in here and not leave it willy-nilly. Things need to be black and white, not this gray area all the time. So having it dated as of today is, you know, then people are going to want to get fines. As much as you say no, that's what's going to happen. So you need to amend it to have a certain date and be mindful of the people that are snowbirds, be mindful of senior citizens, be mindful of the weather, because it's still pretty chilly out there for a lot of people. And a lot of people can't lift heavy bags. Okay, and as well, to say that the village will come in and they will remove whatever they need to remove, and they'll charge you. Is there a schedule of fees related to that?
No, there's not a schedule right now.
There's not a schedule of how much that you charge to clean up?
That wasn't something that was discussed right now.
Well, these things need to be thought through. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to table this amendment here, because you still have until April 15th, and put a notice out to people. You know those phone calls for bingo and all that? We could do the same thing about the mulch.
Tom Conley, 452A Portsmouth. As far as the mulch goes, if we do put it out on the curb and you guys do pick it up, I'm not sure if there's a cost involved, bringing it to the town or whatever the deal may be. But if there is, to alleviate that, I do know the farm club uses it. So maybe you might want to supply it to them to save them money or whatever. So that'd be another option for you guys, you know, as far as cost and stuff like that, all right? And even maybe use it for yourself in the areas that you deem you don't need to have it removed and all. But again, I just want to read it, if you guys just try to help us by finding a contract or putting it up somewhere that this person, whoever the volunteer in the neighborhood is willing to do that for certain individuals, that'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last resolution is related to Code of Ethics for trustees. This really kind of this Code of Ethics has existed already in the community, and what this does is amend it to include the New Jersey Administrative Code in regards to removal of trustees in the process, which is found in violation of the Code of Ethics on the last page of the resolution. This is section 8, violation of the Code of Ethics, and really just memorializes what is already existing law into the governing documents for removal. And I don't believe there's anything else here. The only other addition was about making communications, whether written or orally, on any social media platform in regard to any association matter without prior authorization of the Board of Trustees. Yeah. Those are
Sure. Great. The first one is Phyllis. Are we taking minutes tonight, and how? Which is recording or by hand? Is it being recorded, or are you doing this by hand?
Yes,
Okay.
it's being recorded.
We'll leave that. Greg, I think you did a terrific job on this with Facebook. I'm sorry. I thought you did a terrific job with this with Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. I mean, I only use Facebook. I mean, you didn't have to go this far.
There's more every day.
Wait, you left a couple out though. You actually left out smoke signals and Morse code. Okay, could you put that in?
It does say, but not limited to. So
That's true. You might capture with that. You know, if you listen to the people here, they're really hankering for more transparency. If you didn't hear that, let me tell it to you loud and clear. They're looking for more transparency, not less. If you were at my ADR and you know that the arbiter found nothing wrong or nothing that harmed the association members, the ethics agreement is meant to protect the homeowners, not the association, not the trustees, and not the board members. It is meant to protect the homeowners. In putting all these stipulations in, you are restricting the flow, as it says here, You will not restrict the flow of information. It's ironic that you have everything in B, and C says claims of privacy and confidentiality shall not be used to impede the proper flow of information, which the owners are legally entitled to. And you are doing that. You're all in violation of the ethics agreement, as far as I can see. Okay, less transparency is not what we're looking for. More is what we're looking for. And the way I did it did not harm one single resident in here, but did much more to protect the board members than anything else from things that they did that were unethical. Let me ask you one last question. Do you have an ethics agreement that you had to sign as a lawyer before you started practicing?
Sure, took an oath.
And have you ever felt like you violated it?
No.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Hey, Charles Graber, 411A. Just to answer your question about transparency, up there, we film everything. We film all the board meetings. So if you want any information, you can always look on the website if you have access to it. So you can go back and look at all the previous meetings and find out what was said. It'd be better, of course, to have it in writing, but there's plenty of documentation. So you can ask the right questions. And last is just a complaint on my part. I didn't understand one of the gentlemen that questioned who's supposed to be responsible for paying that $25,000. And I assume that it's negligence. So you talked about not being able to monitor cigarette smoking here, but it can be, it should be, but am I correct that if there's a fire started by someone who smokes cigarettes, it's negligence? Am I correct? That's right, so there should be no question about who's taking responsibility for it. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Dory, 334B. So in this, it says that this is going to take place immediately. Why does it have to be immediately? Can't, you know, there's in Section 8, violations of the Code of Ethics, the Board of Trustees reserves the right to remove any trustee for good cause, notwithstanding the conclusions of the ADR provider as provided in whatever the section is, blah, blah, blah. So what's the point of having an ADR?
It's mandated by law.
Well, it's mandated by law, but you know what? You don't care.
That's not
You do whatever you want.
The findings from the ADR, the board accepted the findings from the arbitrator in regards to Mr. Berman's ADR. That's just not true.
Okay, so, and then you suspended him further?
No.
After the ADR, yes, you did.
Yes, you did, after the ADR. And then you know what you did also? Is that you had a meeting and you had Mr. Ring zoomed in. None of us have the opportunity to be zoomed in for a meeting, but yet to nab Harvey, you made sure you got Tim Ring zoomed in. So ethically, that's not right. There's a thing right and wrong.
That's not true.
It's not true? I was here for the meeting. I was here for the meeting. I saw it happen. Why was he on a Zoom?
It's permitted under extenuating circumstances.
But none of us have that opportunity.
You need a quorum of the board, and you can have somebody attend via Zoom or whatever to have a quorum of the board.
After him not being here for so many months, that was the meeting that you brought him in on.
He was here for other meetings.
He was there for like one meeting. One meeting. Yes, I know, Sandy. We don't need comments from the peanut gallery on this one. So the thing with the ADR, like, are you gonna follow what the ADR says? Because what's the point of having it? Or you just do what you want willy-nilly?
The board did follow the recommendations from the arbitrator. They did not remove the trustee.
You suspended him further
For 6 months.
for 6 months. Yeah.
Including when he had already been suspended, right? So it was not
Yeah,
an
yeah.
issue.
But it was, everything was kind of hanging in the air for how many months? 4 months?
And to be fair, the arbitrator did find a violation of the code of ethics. That was unquestioned. The part that was in question was whether there was enough harm to the association to remove.
How come this information is not given to everybody? We should be privy to everything. Every single line item, yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. Every single line item in the budget, we should be privy to. Okay? What goes on in an ADR, we should be privy to when it comes to a trustee that we voted in. So I'm asking you now, the Board of Trustees reserves the right to remove any trustee for good cause? All this information wasn't in here about Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. None of that was in here before. But you took it upon yourselves to say, oh, he violated. We don't know what other people violate when they go to the pool and they blab their mouths around.
With all due respect, we were here just talking about all the claims the association had, and you're asking for the association to disclose everything to the membership for everything that ever happens here.
Yes, I do.
Right.
I do. I would expect that when the maintenance building burned down, I would have expected transparency from day one. Why it happened, who was the offender, how much it cost us, how much money do we get back?
And to be fair, I do insurance defense. There's a lot of claims against associations that hit their D&O just for disclosures like you're saying, that may get made in an open session, right? People talking about employment matters, people talking about privacy matters, boards alleging things that they don't have findings or conclusive proof, but they want to be as transparent as you want them to be. And you know what happens? They get hit with a lot more claims than what the association has right now.
This membership wants the transparency. So I ask that you do table this, that's the resolution that's going to go into effect immediately, because everything here is a friggin' fire sale. So please, take some time, propose it to the membership, and then think on it. See how we can fine tune this. But everything you do, and I'm saying everything you do, oh, we got to vote on it now. Do we have the number for the insurance? No, we don't, but we got to vote on it now. What's fair is fair. I would love to join the board, except for I work, you know what, I work full-time. I work full-time, and I have a part-time job, and you have meetings in the morning. I would love to join the board. You know what, you'd have Doge up your ass like you'd never seen before.
General ethical principle. For you and for you, Mr. Haskell. On letter G says language at board and membership meetings should be kept professional. You're not professional. You're not professional. You told me to shut up and to sit down. Listen, you should be talking to the lawyer next to you. You should not be sitting there. You should not be sitting there. And I'll be honest. There we go. Hey, Mr. Attorney, what are you going to do about that? Because you know what's going to happen? This is being recorded, right? You know what's going to happen? We're going to take them to court.
Okay.
That's what we should do with all of you. And the attorney should tell you about that too. Because you are in violation.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
One other thing I left off, Harvey Berman, 156C Gramercy Court. You know, like I said at the beginning last time, your interpretation of the ethics agreement is backwards. Okay? Everything in there is meant to protect the owners, not the board. By putting this extra stuff in, it gives you an extra layer of secrecy, of a lack of transparency. What I was doing on that board was representing the people who put me on. okay? By letting them know things that were happening, did not do anything to interfere with what was going on, and it was to the benefit, if you read the ADR, was to the benefit in a couple of cases, okay? Like supporting what we did with the raise. I supported it on that site, okay? Also, let people know about the question we were having about the buses, which turned out to be the right thing to do. Because at the next meeting, there was a discussion about it and things got changed.
We're not gonna,
No, we're not
we don't need to rehash this, come on.
We don't have to rehash this, but transparency is a very important thing here.
We understand that, yes.
Okay, and you've heard it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then why don't you do something to
Harvey, this is your opinion, okay?
Okay.
There's 7 other board members up here that felt differently, okay? And if you're lucky enough to get back on the board, then you can go and have your opinion again.
It was 6 people who felt differently and voted that way at a meeting that didn't exist.
Do you have a question?
Oh my goodness.
Do I have a question? I have no question. I just have one thing to let you know. That anything that's done by one board can be undone by the next one. Okay?
70B, Edward Rahimi. Coming to these meetings, sitting in the back, the lawyer, I gotta give you credit. You've been taking care of it, you've been trying to be a gentleman. Everybody else above here, even the manager over here is looking down and not respecting me. It's disrespecting all of the residents here. We pay for everything here. All you guys want to do is hit us, hit us, hit us. Don't give us no respect. And you sit up in front of these meetings with all these people here. And you sit to the manager and you don't say nothing. This guy's going off for this lady that we're not going to over and talk to him. What job did you do? Huh? Nothing, Tom.
Okay, can I have a motion to open the meeting at 7:50? 7:50.
I make the motion to open the meeting.
I second.
No apologies?
Tom, can I have a roll call, please?
Tom Haskell.
Here.
Sandy Acamano. Judy Amigos.
Here.
Tom Petroci here. Tim Ring is absent. Glenn Wilder. Here. Susan Farrell.
Thank you, Tom. Can I have a motion for to approve the open meeting minutes of February 20th, 2025?
I second it.
Moved. Tom, can you read the first resolution, number 2025-03.13.01?
Amending the 2025 fiscal operating income and expense budget.
Can I have a motion to approve this resolution, 2025-03-13-01?
I make the motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Can I have Tom, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Tom Haskell.
Yes.
Sandy Acamano.
Yes.
Judy Amigos.
Yes.
Tom Petroci, I'm going to abstain because I was not at this meeting. Tim Ring's absent. Glenn Wilder. Yes. Sue Farrell.
Thank you, Tom. Tom, can we read resolution number 2025-03.13.02?
Resolution regarding applications and allocations of insurance proceeds and deductibles.
I move.
Can I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Okay.
Tom Haskell.
Yes.
Sandy Acamano.
Yes.
Judy Amigos.
Yes.
Tom Petroci, yes. Tim Ring's absent. Glenn Wilder. Yes. Sue Farrell.
Okay, could I have a motion, Tom, can you read resolution number 2025.03.13.03, please?
relating to mulch.
Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a second? No second on the motion? We have a second? Tom, can we do a roll call vote?
Tom Haskell.
Yes.
Sandy Arcamano.
Yeah, abstain.
Judy Mayor.
Yes.
Tom Petrocci. No until we get this thing under control.
What's so funny?
Tim Ring.
I know, Judy, why you...
No, I was laughing because I started to answer when he was calling.
Tim Ring is
I was
absent.
laughing that I was
Tim Ring is
answering.
absent. Don't have to answer. Glenn Wilder.
No, until we get this. Couple things we can work on.
Sue Farrell. Is that a no? No.
Okay, motion failed.
I'd like to speak through the chair.
Go ahead, Sandy.
In totality, I believe we need to do this because we have to agree with the code, but we do need to really get some more definite timelines and the details set up. So it will be back, I'm sure, and I will vote yes.
Thank you, Sandy. Okay, Tom, can you read resolution number 2025.03.13.04?
Relating to trustees' code of ethics.
Have a motion for this resolution?
I make the motion.
Can I have a second?
I second.
Tom, vote, please.
Tom Haskell.
Yes.
Sandy Arcamano.
Yes.
Judy Mayor.
Yes.
Tom Petrocci, yes. Tim Ring's absent. And Glenn Wilder?
Yes.
Sue Farrell?
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Mapes, can we have our treasurer's report for this evening?
Certainly. This morning with the merit prize in our reserve account, we have $3,330,000, wait a minute, let me start over. $3,330,577.81.
3 million.
3 million. We have made no transfers, as I said before, for the December, January, and February. We've written checks so far this month for $39,000. As far as our collections are going from 0 to 30, we have 327 units. From 31 to 60 is 54 units, and 61 plus is 83 units. That's a total of 464 delinquent units. And with our attorneys, we have about 34 units in the attorney's hands, which is about $303,000. That's my report.
Thank you, Judy. Anybody have any questions for Judy? Seeing none.
Francine G, 320B Coventry Court. On these delinquent units, is there any way you can foreclose on them? I mean,
Yes, and the association does foreclose on units. There's obviously, they examine it unit by unit, situation by situation.
Right.
But the association is entitled to and does foreclose on units that are in arrears.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have 34 units that are with the attorney, and what's the dollar amount on that?
I said it was about, it fluctuates because money comes in, money comes out over the month, but it's about 303,000.
Okay, and what do we pay the attorney?
So for collections, the association's retainer is flat fee for, I call it like a la carte. So a collection letter is I believe, $75 plus postage. A lien, I think this association's like $200 for my office for a lien. And it kind of goes off of that menu, right? It goes off of that flat fee retainer schedule. And then court appearances and things like that are hourly, $300 an hour. And those legal fees are paid by the association, then passed on to that delinquent owner. So the delinquent owner, to be made current, must pay my legal fees.
Okay. So you're the one that, your firm is the one that does the collections?
Yes.
Weren't we told another time that it was another attorney? Or is another attorney in your firm?
Not sure. I think that, I don't know if you have another. Oh, you're thinking about the lawsuit against the town for the municipal services
Yes, that's what I'm
reimbursement.
thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Ansel Grimm, that's Dave Byrne, and he's just handling that particular litigation.
Okay, where do we stand with that?
Question. So, this is actually interesting. So there is a motion to compel against the town for the township to provide certain documents. And I'm not the attorney, so I'm just going off of the court filings here. They have not turned over, so they're in violation. What the association is alleging is they're in violation of the court order to provide certain documents for the association to review during discovery. The association filed a motion to bar, it's called a motion to bar, a motion to preclude them from presenting evidence. It goes into a long thing, but it's an adverse inference, essentially, is what the association is seeking, that the association is right, and that the township is no longer allowed to present certain evidence in their favor. I can go here for an hour and talk about what all that means, but basically, it's still in discovery. The township has not provided all the documents that they were supposed to the association, and the discovery end date, I said it last time, I forget what it is, but I think it's in, I can look at it, but I think it's in May.
Okay. And how much money that is owed to us compared to how much money we are spending to that attorney?
That I don't know, because I'm not involved in litigations.
Do we have any idea, roughly, roundabout?
No, that attorney would have to answer that question.
We don't have any idea, because, I mean, at some point, you gotta fish or cut bait.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, the attorney has probably a figure in his head on what the whole litigation is worth, but I can't give you that answer.
Do you know how much the town owes us altogether or not?
Well, as I mentioned in prior meetings, where we used to get reimbursed and what we're currently getting reimbursed for, there's at least a difference of $200,000 annually.
For how many years?
Right. So, I mean, we could go back to the previous court litigation matter had stipulated a statute of limitations, so there's only so far we can go back. But not only are we trying to recover past monies owed, but we're trying to establish something moving forward that was not only going to guarantee reimbursement for garbage reimbursement, but also snow reimbursement and the new issue that we have with leaf disposal. So in the past, we would collect the leaves off the curb line, transport them to the recycle center. There wasn't a cost associated with disposal, but now the recycle center is charging us per ton. So we're trying to get recovery for that as well.
So I guess for the tipping fees you've got, I mean, you're forced to pay that amount of money as opposed to saying we're not paying it until, and then they can sue us. Right?
Well, if we don't pay the recycle center to dispose of leaves, they're not going to let us in.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. Richard Parker, 20B. When I was here for the budget meeting, we all felt sorry for the people with the buses and eliminating the buses. So what this board did was think about it for a day or two, put it off, and came out with a better way to accommodate our seniors who need the buses. However which way you put it together, Ocean Ride, 2 days a week, you slept on it, you discussed it, you thought about it. It seems like out of 4 resolutions tonight, that the main one was that brought people's blood pressure up is anytime it comes to unexpected, even though it was expected because we had the meeting on February 20th, costs that we have to take care of immediately. It was brought up by some gentleman here tonight to possibly put it over 4 payments. Judy says we got to get this money because we're in the arrears from December, January, February. I guess my statement is could it be possibly slept on, just rediscussed by the board that approved it, just to say possibly, if it can't go four months, because if it can't go 4 months, maybe it could go 3 months. 4 months is $88 a pop. 3 months is $117. That's $60 less than the $176. Well, just the reason why it's a problem for a lot of people is because it's happening so fast. If maybe you said this was going to be May 1st and June 1st, it gives a little people time to get their ducks in order. All I'm asking you to do is to just see if you could tweak the timeline or the payment line a little bit. Thank you very much.
James Key, 516B Portsmouth Drive. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
James Key, 516B Portsmouth Drive. What impact will if we are successful with a suit against the township, what impact will that have on rebates on the HOA fees?
Well, that's hard to say because we're still in discovery phase. You don't know what the end result's going to be and what kind of cash flow that could potentially bring into the association and how that's going to offset expenses moving forward. So that's not a question that can be answered tonight.
Thank you, sir.
I assume that's going to be a consideration.
Yeah, the fast answer is that's anytime an association or any corporation has influx of cash, they decide whether it goes to the membership or whether it needs to offset other expenditures that go on. It's a board decision.
Okay, next we have our attorney's report.
Hi, Anne Marie Gillespie, 353D. I just want to ask, hearing about all the hardships regarding this increase for insurance, when do we anticipate increasing us on the water bill that was spoken about at one of the meetings? Because I know that's also going to increase this year.
Yeah, no, it would, actually, that would be next year.
Next year?
Yes.
So there's no increase to us in 2025 yet?
Correct.
It's going to be in, okay, thank you.
Our attorney's report. Greg Vinagrosky.
So close. Thank you, everybody. I've spoken a lot today. People are probably sick of hearing me. Just quickly, a couple of things that are coming down the pike as far as new laws in New Jersey that we're always looking at as association attorneys regarding board member training, management training. There's the new mulch law that's coming into effect April 15th, and the Nonprofit Corporation Act, which I've talked way too much about at these meetings. And every time I talk about it, I always say that it's changing, and it's changed again. The Nonprofit Corporation Act now, with the new administration in place, has decided not to enforce the Nonprofit Corporation Act on any domestic corporations, but any corporations that are foreign-owned, they are still going to have to register under the CTA. This does not affect, obviously, the association, so at this point, compliance is voluntary, and the FinCEN and the Treasury Department is not going to be looking to enforce the CTA against domestic corporations, which would include Leisure Village. Yeah, regardless, the board signed up and was ready to go in case there was going to be enforced, because on Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, they decided to change it 3 times as to what they were going to do. So now, as I said, it's not enforced against the association, but the association, the board still voluntarily complied with.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions for our attorney? Thank you. Village manager's report, Tom?
Once again, good evening, everyone. Just a quick report. Service department is, or grounds report, department rather, is working on area cleanup, addressing whatever trees they can handle in-house right now, doing a lot of work right now on the golf course. Lawn Connection has also been in, applied the first application of fert, crabgrass prevention. So that's been completed. We're working to resolve some claims, some of which you're probably already aware. 75 building is complete, so we're finalizing payment to the contractor, as well as working to get final payment from the insurance company on the outstanding invoices. We're working at the 104 building. There has been some delays in getting the repair started. We did take care of mitigation on one of the units. Unfortunately, there are a number of insurance carriers involved, each of which have their own fire investigator. A joint fire investigation has been scheduled for the 20th of this month, after which they will clear the scene for us to go in and start making repairs. We already have the estimates from the contractor. Our attorney's already drafted the agreement for the contractor. We're just waiting for the green light to move forward and start getting some repairs taken care of. 403 building, the contractor has already started the framework, got the trusses in place, a lot of the sheathing is done. So that particular claim is moving forward pretty quickly. Also, we have the elections coming up. In addition to the mail-in ballots, we're going to have e-voting this year. So we did sign with Vote HOA, which is a company that handles doing electronic voting. Those of you that have an email with us, you'll receive an email from them for your link to submit your ballots electronically. If you have 2 emails on file, it will only send it to the one. So you can't send it to both your emails. Some of your accounts in here, you have spouses that have both emails on there. Only one of them will receive that information. In addition to that, we'll be sending out some information on how to handle the electronic voting. We'll also have a QR code, so you can scan that with your phone, and you could also do the voting via phone. So we spoke with the board on that. What the intent is, so the actual count will be on the 29th. All ballots, paper ballots need to be in by the 28th at noon. What we intend to do is have the electronic voting going that very same week from Monday through Thursday. This way, when they go to do the ballot counts, the paper ballots, they'll already have the information from the electronic voting.
So they're going to add that.
Right, and they'll just match it up to make sure that someone didn't try to vote twice. Right. The election committee.
Gene Library, 352A, regarding the reconstruction of the buildings from the fires. Are they being equipped with firewalls through the roofs?
Yeah, so whatever the code requires, that's what they're putting in. It's a drywall, fire-rated drywall. That's what was there originally. That's what was required.
That was there from 60 years ago, and it didn't stop any of these fires from spreading, so we're going to use it again.
So the situation actually developed from outside in, and it got into the soffits and began to progress into the neighboring unit. If you look at the, well, you can't look at it now, but if you had gone there previously, the actual fire rock did prevent that fire from going into the garages. So when they tore that drywall down, all the studs dividing that unit were untouched by the fire.
But what we're replacing these new units with is not going to stop fires from spreading.
No, it's to slow it down. It's not going to stop it completely. It's fire-rated drywall. So, but if it gets up into the soffits, there's really no stopping it.
Is there a way to stop it from getting into the soffit?
No, I mean, you wouldn't have an open soffit then. You would be closed and you're not going to have ventilation in the attic.
Okay.
Hi, one last question, Joanne Glass, 451B. So tomorrow I'm going to call down to administration to, I guess, Regina in accounting to ask about spreading the payments out over 4 months. And will she be told that she should be expecting phone calls from residents asking for modifications to that payment plan? And if I call and she doesn't know anything about it or can't do that to accommodate me, who am I said that that's going to be okay to do?
So
and for everybody else.
We actually met, both Phyllis and I, with Regina today, so she is expecting it. But typically how we handle is there's actually a form that we ask the resident to fill out. So she's more likely going to direct you to fill out that form if you stop at
That's fine. Okay, thank you, just so everyone knows how to do that. Thank you. Question about voting for the new trustees. Someone asked me to ask this question. Is there a reason why, if there's 2 people, let's say on a deed, that both people don't get a chance to vote for the new person? Why is it just one household? I'm not quite sure. I don't know the
It's
answer.
one unit, it's one vote per unit.
Per unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any committee reports? Tom?
Hi, everybody. Safety and security. We have a meeting every month to listen to people's problems. You know, last meeting, we had 10 people. I mean, I come to these meetings and there's complaints all the time about things that are going on in the village, but no one shows up at these meetings. I know you work. This village is run by volunteers. There could always be another volunteer that could have a night meeting to have a safety and security at night. But obviously people don't want to vote, don't want to volunteer. So it's the same people that volunteer in every single club, every single thing in this village. It's the same 100 people that volunteer. If you want this village to run, you need more volunteers. Number 2, you're talking about safety. I know the mulch thing is a big problem. But it's not just this unit, this village. All these villages have the same problem. We're all attached units. You have a fire, you could be taking down 4 units, 2 units, 5 units, some of them have 5 units. That's what the problem is. You're more worried about moving the mulch than worried about the safety and the safety of the people in this village. It's a law. The mulch is going to have to be moved. I don't know how it's going to, you'll have to do it a little at a time, but it has to be moved. It's a law. All right, now we're going to go, we have an election coming up. This board is going to change. There's going to be 4 new people on this board. Now, that's not, let me tell you something. First of all, you don't have your facts right, miss. You think we're all getting paid? Yes, I don't know, I forgot what your name is. That's my culture. Okay, Mrs. Sangiano. We are not paid. We are volunteers here. And the new people that are coming on this board are volunteers. And this village has 2,400 units, 4,500 people. You know how many votes we get? Like 400, 500 votes. That's a disgrace. You come here to these meetings and you complain, but you don't vote. If you want change, you have to vote. And another thing, if you want change, this insurance thing is not, our hands are tied. You got a problem, you should be calling your senator. I was on my phone with the senator yesterday because I have problems with what's going on in this township. and you call your senator and your congressman, and that's how you get things done. If all these people in this village called their congressman, maybe things would get done. Maybe they would go after the big corporations, the big insurance companies, and tell them, no, you can't raise it 60, 50, 60, 70% on people, on senior citizens. If you call Chris Smith, tell him, we don't want our insurance raised that much. You have to fight. You have to fight. You can't just sit here and fight with us because our hands are tied. Well, I hope you do. I mean, and the other thing is, people that come up here, knock this board. Listen, people come in here and knock this board. We all have single votes up here. Not everybody votes the same. So you come up and you call us all the same. We're not all the same. We're different. We're 7 different votes. And you have a majority. We're a democratic voting system here. You said there's no color on this board because no people of color put in for it.
Unanimous. Everybody's unanimous.
Well, if you don't put in for the job, you're not going to get voted in.
Excuse me.
So I'm sorry, that's all I have to say. Vote. Vote for the people that you want in here.
That's all you want. I want your card. Trust me, I'm not leaving without your card.
Hi, Anne Marie Gillespie, 353D.
Whoa. The meeting is not over.
Wow. Anyhow, I just have a question. Someone brought it up before. I know it's not going to be popular and very hard to enforce. But I don't know, due to like the fires that we're speaking about in our insurance, and a vast majority of the fires can be started by cigarette smoking. Is there any way to look into effective, maybe next year going forward, this can be a non-smoking community? And wait, and I'm just...
It's the law.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, I did not know that. I did not know that. That's why I'm asking.
I don't think you can do that.
I don't know, of course, you know how they did it in restaurants and stuff, you can't smoke anymore.
You're going to have a person go to everybody's house and see if there's...
No, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you purchase a house, effective in 2026 or 2027, this is becoming a non-smoking environment, and to grandfather in the people that are already here.
Right, so
Just a suggestion.
Just a quick comment on it. I've made associations, right, smoke-free, right? But you have to grandfather in existing owners, right? As Tom said, it's incredibly difficult to enforce. You have a lot of tenants here, right? You have a lot of people that smoke in their unit that you're not going to know that they're smoking, right? So it becomes very, very difficult to regulate. I'm not saying it's impossible, maybe a board can look at that. But I just want to throw out some factors here that make it very difficult, and I'm sure you're aware.
Oh, but I understand that, but I'm just thinking futuristically, because then it may make a smoker futuristically think about, hey, I can't come in here because I am a smoker.
Sure.
Just a thought, just a thought.
Okay, my committee reports. Neighborhood representatives will be meeting normally on our normal day on March 21st. The meeting will be in Buckingham Hall, and that is at 10 o'clock. You don't have to be a neighborhood representative to come. If you have problems with your units or different situations, you can come and talk to all of us, and the managers will be there. The main hall in Buckingham. Sorry. Our Special Events Coordinator Committee, we're bringing in the Ocean County Services on April 8th at 10 a.m. in this room, and they will be explaining the new different anchor and freeze situations, and they'll also be bringing their truck, van, and we can go in and look and see all the other services that they have. Thank you.
Okay.
April 8th.
What time?
No, there.
What time? What time?
10 a.m. It's in your newsletter.
Thank you, Judy.
You're welcome.
Seeing no other
Okay, no,
reports,
you know I have this
Sandy, as their vice president report.
Okay. First of all, get your pencils out, please. 732-504-0567. That's Christopher Smith. He's our representative in Washington. I call him once a week. You just call and tell him what's bothering you. Like the fact that there's no control over the insurance companies in the United States. The second thing is we'll be serving Easter meals, which are donated by the Knights of Columbus from St. Martha's Church in Point Pleasant. You call the special events coordinators if you need a meal for Easter. They'll be delivered. 2 meals will be delivered on the Saturday before Easter. There was something else I wanted to say, but it just flew away. Sorry. Oh, this is another thing. If I say this all the time, when we come here to this meeting to pass a resolution, that resolution has been on the board table for months. And it may seem like we just rubber stamp, but all the details have been ironed out in our meetings. And we bring it here to let you know what we're doing, even though you think we're not transparent, we really are, to let you know what we're doing. So we have all our disagreements most likely have been ironed out. I do not have a problem voting no if the constituents here bring good ideas, but I also think the board deserves some respect. Okay? And there are many times when I have tried to explain things and all I get is like you don't want an explanation. I am willing to talk with anyone, but at the same time, this board works very hard for you, and I know you think we don't, but we do. And respect works both ways.
Judy, Sandy. You just said that it's been worked out months in advance, and you guys know about it months in advance. Why do you wait until the last second to give it to us so that we are surprised by it?
Because we don't always know what the end product is going to look like. It may start out as something very different, but once our attorney looks at it, once we look at the rules, that's why a lot of times we don't answer in public, because of what Greg said. We may say something that's not true, and then we're held to it. Excuse me, Gene. We bring you the finished legal product.
Fine. Can you bring us the legal finished product the month before you have to put it into effect so that we see it, hear it, digest it? Rather than, here it is, it has to be in because there's a state law that says it has to be in April 15th. Today is March 13th. You have no time to wait another month, so you had to pass that resolution this month. It could have been done last month so that we had at least another month to come up with money or whatever.
And I'm telling you, we were working to get that last month. Okay? We don't hide things in the back.
Judy, I'm sorry, Sandy, I'm just saying that every month it's due immediately.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but we do it as soon as we can.
Okay.
Thank you. I have no report tonight. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
A second.
Seeing the motion, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.